Lewis Hamilton's race engineer gave him an urgent call over team radio in Monaco. But as we've seen happen with virtually every race weekend this year, he was once again left scratching his head. Despite a strategy that allowed him to leapfrog Isack Hadjar and Fernando Alonso via the overcut, Hamilton found no extra clarity in the data. The result was a solitary drive to fifth place on the tight, twisting streets of Monte Carlo, with no sign of what that mysterious radio message, among others, truly meant. Starting seventh on the grid in Monaco, Lewis Hamilton managed to climb 2 positions by the time the checkered flag waved. But with Lando Norris crossing the line over 50 seconds ahead, and Max Verstappen a distant 30 seconds up the road in P4, Hamilton found himself marooned in what he described as no man's land. The 7-time world champion steered clear of the strategic chess match that unfolded behind him as Formula One trialled a mandatory 2-stop rule for the first time on the streets of Monte Carlo. It was a day of tactical slowdowns, with Racing Bulls and Williams deploying rear-gunner strategies that frustrated Mercedes but delivered results. The likes of Isack, Hadjar, Liam Lawson, Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz all benefited, bringing home valuable points. When asked about the new rule, Hamilton shared his thoughts with Sky F1. "I can't comment on the rest of the race. For me, I was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, with the penalty that I had, a 3-place grid drop for impeding Verstappen, I started 7th, I was behind 2 cars for some time and then managed to clear them. And then I was kind of just in no man's land after that. I think the gap was relatively big, and I was really not racing anyone. I needed a safety car or something to come into play, but it didn't happen." As Ferrari executed a successful overcut on Isack Hadjar and Fernando Alonso during the first round of pit stops, Lewis Hamilton received a motivational call over the radio from race engineer Riccardo Adami to "push now. This is our race." The only problem? Hamilton wasn't quite sure what that meant. It's clear there are still a few communication wrinkles to iron out between Hamilton and Adami following the Brits' high-profile switch to Ferrari. Later in the race, the two again appeared out of sync when Hamilton requested time gaps to Verstappen, Piastri, Leclerc, and Norris ahead. He asked whether he was still a minute behind that group, but Adami never gave him a clear answer. Because of this, Hamilton came back with, "You're not answering the question. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm just asking if I'm a minute behind or..." And looking back on Adami's radio demand for him to push now, Hamilton said, "It wasn't very clear. The information wasn't exactly that clear. I didn't really understand. This is our race. What am I didn't know what I was fighting for. Am I fighting for the next spot ahead or..." But, in actual fact, when I look at the data, I wasn't anywhere near any of the guys up front, so I used up my tires a lot in that respect, in that moment, but I was so far away from them anyway. Unfortunately, radio communication is far from the only thing Ferrari got wrong in Monaco, at least according to Charles Leclerc, who couldn't hide his frustration after falling short of pole position on home soil. The heartbreak came in the final seconds of Q3, when McLaren's Lando Norris stormed to the top with a blistering 1 minute 9.954 lap, a new Monte Carlo track record, edging out Leclerc by just a tenth and snatching away the dream of pole in Monaco for the local favourite. So far in the 2025 season, Ferrari has only graced the podium once, Leclerc's third-place finish in Saudi Arabia. And heading into Monaco, the Scuderia had low expectations. The slow-speed layout was thought to be ill-suited to their SF25. Team principal Fred Vasseur had even conceded before the weekend that, "Yes, we are worried. If we don't do a better job than this weekend, Imola, the next race will definitely be much harder." As it turned out, Ferrari had far less to worry about than expected. Charles Leclerc lit up the timing sheets by topping all 3 practice sessions, only to narrowly miss out on pole to Lando Norris in a nail-biting Q3 finale. Still, Leclerc wasn't exactly in a celebratory mood. Despite outperforming Ferrari's own expectations, the Monegasque struggled to frame the result as a positive. Speaking at the post-qualifying press conference, he admitted that, "I'm not satisfied because you forget very quickly with the expectations that you have going into a weekend when free practices are going so well. I think we were wrong with the expectations that we had. And at the end of the day, it was a lot more positive than what we initially thought. We still need to understand why, to be completely honest. For me, it's an unknown. I don't quite know why we are so fast in slow speed suddenly, but we'll analyze that after the weekend. But no, disappointment is big. We expected to struggle a lot, which wasn't the case because from FP1 it felt really good. The car felt good. I felt confident with the car straight away, and we've got to understand that how we can reproduce that on all the tracks. Like if we take Miami, which was 2 race weekends ago, we were losing so much in the low-speed corners, and now we are very fast this weekend. So, obviously there are other things that are also changing. The ride is not great here, and we know we've got a pretty good car in terms of ride, but I feel like there might be something else to be understood. Pressed for insight following a tense qualifying session that saw him wedge his Ferrari between the 2 McLarens on the Monaco grid, Charles Leclerc responded with a hint of frustration. I think the only explanation I can find for now is that on a track like this, where there's only low speed, basically no high-speed corners, in most of the tracks, we had to take compromises in order to not lose too much in high-speed corners. We don't have to set up the car in a way where we compromise anything here because we just focus on the low speed. And when we are on these kinds of tracks, it seems that there's some performance in the low speed from the car. But we are a little bit stuck at the moment on other tracks, so I don't think we can apply it to any other tracks other than Monaco, unfortunately. Qualifying in Monaco is often seen as the most crucial session of the F1 season, given how notoriously difficult overtaking is on the tight, twisty streets of Monte Carlo. But the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix brings a twist. For the first time ever, the FIA has mandated a minimum of 2 pit stops per driver, throwing strategy into uncharted territory. Charles Leclerc pointed to Ferrari's composure over the curbs and bumps as a major ingredient in their Monaco Grand Prix resurgence. A surprising twist after downplaying the team's chances heading into the weekend due to the SF25's struggles in low-speed corners. While McLaren still held the upper hand in that department, Ferrari's ability to glide over the notoriously uneven Monaco surface played to their advantage. Speaking in the FIA press conference after the race, Leclerc admitted he was proud to deliver a strong result amid a challenging season, even if finishing second still left a bitter taste of frustration. "I'm never really happy with second place," he said. Then, if you do a step back and you look at our season, I think this is a very positive result for the whole team. Especially coming here, we had very low expectations, just because our low-speed performance has been very bad all season. However, I think here it's a very specific track because there are a lot of bumps, a lot of curb riding, and I think our car is pretty good on that. That helped us to close the gap. So, yeah, I think we did a really good job, and 18 points plus the 10 of Lewis are very valuable points for the situation we are in. On that, I think we should be proud. Am I over the moon for a second place? Not really, but it's been a very positive weekend anyway. As Lewis Hamilton continues to find his footing in Ferrari Red, you can't help but wonder, could his frequent miscommunication over the radio be the difference between podiums and missed opportunities? Let me hear from you in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to stay informed on the latest in the world of F1. Thanks for watching.